Serialized in manga and animation for 20 years with hundreds of characters to follow, Bleach has many small details in its visuals and writing, so much so that you'd be forgiven for overlooking some of them. And there are several differences between the anime and manga, as well as information clarified only in supplemental material that the average viewer may not know about. We're here to point out some of the subtler but no less important aspects of the story that'll make you appreciate it all the more, and interesting trivia to highlight some adaptational differences the franchise has seen. So grab your closest Soul Reaper buddy as we're going through 107 facts, trivia, and small details you may have missed about Bleach. Let's get started. Number 1. Ichika Abarai is designed to resemble Senna, the deuteragonist of Memories of Nobody. Number 2. The manga that Love Aikawa references during Ichigo's training with the Visored is Fist of the North Star, whose protagonist Kenshiro has the famous catchphrase, "You are already dead." Omae wa shinderu. The name of Sosuke Aizen Zanpakuto, Kyoka Suigetsu, Mirror Flower Water Moon, references a Chinese parable about things that cannot be gained as easily as they can be seen, namely a flower's reflection in a mirror and the moon's reflection in a pool of water that warns against succumbing to foolish desires. Number 4. Ron, Akon's soul attack technique used in the one-shot No Breathes from Hell, published in 2021, is a mahjong reference. It's the name of a winning move from the game, and the number string 33445588812366 that Akon recites is the precise hand needed to pull it off. Number 5. Tatsuki Arasawa was originally intended to gain spiritual powers alongside Orihime and Sado, as their powers were partially awoken by proximity to Ichigo, whom Tatsuki has known since childhood. Number 6. The first arc of the series includes several instances of Tatsuki Arasawa gradually developing the ability to see spirits that she lacked beforehand, alongside Kubo drawing her as a Shinigami in one of the supplemental books. Number 7. Unfortunately, Kubo's editors pressuring him into rushing into the second arc forced him to cut a lot of Tatsuki's development short. Number 8. Aroniro's true nature is hinted at several chapters before Rukia exposes his real appearance. After attempting to stab her in the face, Aroniro is depicted as speaking to her with two overlapping text bubbles, corresponding to the two independent heads floating inside his tank. Number 9. Yumichika Ayasagawa initially holds a strict policy about the release of his true Shikai, that he'll only do it when no one else is around to witness it, as he fears humiliation within the melee-based 11th Division, but makes an exception for his partner, Ikaku, if the latter is in severe danger, as he almost released Rudeiro Kujaku against the zombified Hitsugaya in full view of several other combatants solely because the latter had just cut Ikaku down. Number 10. Aion is based on the Chimera of Greek mythology, with a technique creating him being Chimera Parka, Reaper Chimera. The mythological Chimera was a fusion between a lion, goat, and a snake, and Aion's creators are themed after lions, gazelles, and snakes, attributes of all three of which are incorporated into his own design. Number 11. Asciaro Ebern, or Iban, depending on which one you listen to, is the only member of the Wanderreich to recite an incantation when using his medallion to steal a Bankai, implied to be a result of his Arankar physiology clashing with the Quincy powers bestowed upon him. Number 12. Bambiator Bastarbine's design changes notably across her appearance in the Quincy Blood War. She initially appears as a teenage girl, then reappears looking several years older just a few days later, before briefly reverting to her previous appearance prior to her second battle against Komamura. Number 13. Despite the anime and colored manga depicting him with pink hair, Basby is both called a redhead in the story and depicted with solid red hair in the Stern Ritter color page near the end of the Quincy Blood War. Number 14. BG9 and Robert Akatron's respective shrifts, K and N, are the only ones never to be revealed during their screen time in the manga or anime for reasons unknown. Number 15. Findor Callius' battle against Hisagi was significantly changed in the anime, with him performing a desperate last attack instead of running in fear at the end, and given a much higher budget than most other episodes for reasons unknown, resulting in extremely high quality animation. Number 16. Shantu is the only member of the Stern Ritter to wear flat shoes, and the only character in the entire series who uses an attack technique with a Chinese name, Shi Jinzhao, Snake Strongclaws. And if I pronounced that wrong, please let me know. I don't speak Chinese whatsoever. Number 17. Charlotte Coolhorn holds a record for the longest attack name in the entire franchise, with beautiful Charlotte Coolhorn's Miracle Sweet Ultra Funky Fantastic Dramatic Romantic Sadistic Erotic Exotic Athletic Guillotine Attack. Number 18. Ulquiorra Cypher is the only Arankar whose hollow hole changes position between his appearance. When he first came to Karakura Town, it was on his neck, but later migrated to the center of his chest as Kubo redesigned him to be emotionless, with the hole now indicating his lack of a heart. Number 19. The anime-only Cloney Arankar bears several overt similarities to Grand Fisher, enough to likely be based on him. They're both unusually massive Arankar with equally oversized Zanpakuto that use the form of a young girl to lure in prey and consume them, and have unique abilities that make them a greater than normal threat for their position and storyline, all while targeting a young boy with abnormally high spiritual power and a sullen attitude who needs help from a female Shinigami to teach him about hollows, and overcome his fears and enemy using her Zanpakuto in the process. Number 20. Ririka Dokigamine's full-bring Love Gun is named after the 6th album of the rock band Kiss. Number 21. Soifon has the most inconsistent Shikai depiction of any Shinigami due to how long it took for its canon effect to be demonstrated. Her first usage of Nigeki Kesatsu, Death in 2 Strikes, in the anime simply fatally poisons her target, while her usage of it in the movie that came out shortly afterward splits her target in 2 before they disintegrate, but the manga would eventually show that it obliterates her target with a large butterfly. Number 22. Luther's Freegan's death scene provides foreshadowing for Yhwach's precognitive The Almighty. When Luther relays his promise that Soul Society will be destroyed in 5 days, Yhwach is visibly annoyed and inquires if Luther's is a prophet who can see the future. Also, is it Yhwach or Yhwach? Yhwach or Yhwach? Let me know in the comments. Number 23. Berenike Gabrielli's shrift, The Question, has its effect clarified in the anime, but only while Kenpachi is talking over their monologue. Rather than forcing the target to question everything about themselves, Berenike uses it to raise objections to aspects of their target, who receives penalties if they cannot effectively counter the objection. 24. Gerard Valkyrie originally wore boots until midway through his battle against the Gote 13, where he suddenly appeared wearing sandals. This was changed in the anime so that he's always wearing sandals from his first appearance. Number 25. Several dozen chapters after his death, Noicha Gilga is revealed to embody the despair aspect of death. Number 26. This despair aspect of death is hinted at during Gilga's dying flashback, where he monologues about his inability to find any meaning in the existence of the Arrancar and homages a famous line from T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland, I will show you fear in the handful of dust, by letting a handful of sand fall from his fingers, indicating that he's mortified by his eventual demise and seeks to find some kind of meaning in it. Number 27. Kugo Ginjo's status as the true villain of the Lost Agent arc is foreshadowed from the very first post-time skip chapter, where he appears in the reflection of Tsukishima's Book of the End on the opening color spread just as he does when attacking Uryu later. Number 28. Giselle Jewel has been confirmed by the author to be a transgender woman, which is why she objects to others identifying her as male in any capacity. Number 28. Takasuna Gori, Riku Tokugashi, and Asuka Katakura, the 3-seated officers of the 3rd Division who appear in the first invasion of the Quincy Blood War, have Shikai names that, when combined, form a famous poem about the 4 seasons. Number 30. The end of Grand Fisher's battle against Ichigo is drastically changed in the anime, with a holographic memory of Masaki's last thoughts about Ichigo appearing instead of him taking on her appearance to safely flee, and his transformation into an Arrancar, which only somewhat resembles the design he would later reappear with, is cut entirely. Number 31. Xyloporo Granz is one of the most heavily censored characters in the series due to his graphic behavior and abilities. The anime has him transform an underling into an orb to consume instead of devouring the underling alive, and be reborn from Nemu as a cloud of smoke instead of crawling out of her desiccated body like a newborn baby. Number 32. Another example of this censorship has the English version of both the manga and anime change his Resurrection name from Fornicaris to La Lujuriosa. Number 33. Gremi Thomyu is indicated to have somehow been kept locked up by Yhwach until being unleashed during the Quincy Blood War. However, this is contradicted by him appearing in an anime-only meeting a couple days earlier without issue. Number 34. Nikin Grandina is one of the few Arrancar whose Resurrection we never see or even learn the name of, due to him rarely speaking and battling mostly off-screen without releasing it. Number 35. Tier Haribel's backstory is relegated entirely to episode 284 of the anime, which establishes that she was a Vasto Lord Arrancar who sought refuge and safety during Barragan's time as ruler of Huecomundo, and found her Fraction as companions. Number 36. Of the 4 keepers of the Seirete, Higan Yudo and Kaiwan are cut entirely from the anime, while Danzomaru briefly appears during the Mount arc. Number 37. Kiryu Hikifune's invention of Gikon technology overrides the anime's Reigai arc, whose main antagonist supposedly invented mod souls. Number 38. Momo Hinamori's Zanpakuto, Tobiyume, is the origin of the Kido type descriptor for Zanpakuto in general, as seen when Marichio was lamenting not having one like hers to use against Barragan. Number 39. Shinji's Shikai ability of reversing the physical perception of his enemies in all directions is hinted at multiple times during his first appearances in the Arrancar arc. He boasts about being able to write his name backwards and observes Ichigo while standing upside down in the air. Number 40. Shuhei Hisagi has 2 instances of revealing powers and abilities in movies before their official debuts. He uses Hyapo Rankan in the Diamond Dust Rebellion several months before it would appear for the first time in even the manga. Number 41. Meanwhile, his Shikai debuted in animation during Fade to Black before the airing of episode 219 of the anime. Number 42. Toshiro Hitsugaya is the only Shinigami Shinigami known to have been contacted by his Zanpakuto spirit before even training to become a Shinigami, with Hyorin Maru's words during these visions implying that he has also had previous masters. Number 43. Ichibei Hyosubei's temporary erasing of Yubaha's name with the ink of Ichimonji briefly reached back in time to affect the past. This is why Zangetsu's name was blacked out when he first tried to introduce himself to Ichigo. Number 44. Tetsuzaimon Iba's Shikai is the only one in the entire series to have been seen multiple times without its name or release command being revealed. Number 45. Gin Ichimaru's eyes are canonically light blue, but were depicted as red and yellow in the anime before the brief instances that he opened them, before finally being corrected in his battle against Ichigo. Number 46. Orihime Shunshin Rika's spirits each resemble a different facet of her personality, which is why Tsubaki, representing her willingness to hurt others, is so weak. Number 47. Sora is changed from a standalone antagonist to part of an overarching plot in the anime, where he's specifically transformed into a hollow by Grand Fisher to test and wear down Ichigo from afar. Number 48. Prior to the revelation that she was the rightful owner of the unique inherited Zanpakuto and had never been able to imprint on an Asauchi as a result, Nanao Ise was hinted to own a regular Zanpakuto during the Soul Society arc, and was depicted with one in an art book that came afterward. Number 49. Izumi Ishida is implied to have weakened Quincy powers from a hollow attack that left a scar on her right leg. Number 50. Despite his disdain for the Quincy, Ryuka and Ishida keeps their trademark blue crosses all over Karakura Hospital. Number 51. Uryu Ishida is depicted in the background several times before his formal introduction in the story, tying into him being ignored by Ichigo until that point, and can be seen with his hand on the barricade preparing to jump over it at the filming of Don Kanonji's purification of the spirit haunting an abandoned hospital before Ichigo intervenes. Number 52. Grimjoe Jagerjack shows a slight soft spot for Orihime during all their interactions in the storyline due to her being the only person to ever show him any kindness aside from Ichigo much later. Number 53. A moment where he shows his soft spot happens after she restores his lost arm. He asks her to heal his destroyed Espada tattoo instead of ordering it, and later puts a cloth over her wrists when he handcuffs her so her hands aren't injured. Number 54. James is considered the true Stern Ritter S, and Masked Demasculine is a creation that fights for him in battle, as indicated by his soul being the one to return to Yubaha when they both die against Renji. Number 55. Ugrim Hashwalth is stated to lack the Quincy's standard ability to control Reishi and shape it into weapons, but he gains a limited form of it in the intervening 1,000 years between Yuabara's discovery of him and the second invasion of the Seirete, as he explicitly draws Reishi out of Nanao's barrier to weaken it. Number 56. Don Kanonji is the only instance of a human developing spiritual powers into an offensive technique without the aid of a full bring or becoming a substitute Shinigami. Number 57. Jin Kariya is the only filler antagonist to reappear and matter past his respective arc and death, with the Bount invasion being mentioned several times in the anime during the Arrancar arc, and him reappearing as a hallucination during Ichigo's training with the visor. Number 58. Kanai Katagiri is partially depicted and not named during the Bound arc, almost a decade before her first appearance in the manga, where she shares some design elements with her canon appearance. Number 59. Kenpachi Kikanjo's only appearance was in a color spread in the second data book, Masked, until a flashback during Kenpachi's battle against Unohana. He was also implied during the non-canon Bount arc to have been a man of honor, but the Turn Back the Pendulum mini-arc would muddle this by mentioning that he was lazy. Number 60. Go Koga is the only filler antagonist to survive the arc that he appears in without joining the side of Ichigo and his friends. Number 61. Mizuhiro Kojima lives with older women and frequently moves around between their houses, while a data book implies that there's something strange about him. Number 62. Shuren, Taikon, Gunjo, and Garogai, the initial antagonists of the Hellverse movie, are implied to have been the ones who killed the sister of Kokuto, the true antagonist, as the camera lingers on them when he describes his sister's murder. Number 63. Sajin Komamura's clan is stated to have been banished from the animal realm, which is a concept of Buddhist mythology. Number 64. Xiaolong Kofang is implied to be the oldest numerous Arrancar, due to having the number of 11, and every Arrancar with a rank above 10 being assigned it in order of creation. Number 65. Byakuya Kuchiki is originally intended to die during the Quincy Blood War, as indicated by both himself and Hashvalth, indicating that he was going to die after his defeat at the hands of Esnod, but this was changed for unknown reasons. Number 66. Rukia Kuchiki invents her San no Mai Shirafude technique on the spot at the climax of her battle against Aroniro, due to him possessing intimate knowledge of her other two Zanpakuto techniques and her finally overcoming her trauma of Kaien's death to start advancing her Shinigami abilities again. Number 67. Before his battle with Aizen, Ichigo Kurosaki always spares his humanoid enemies. Against Aizen, he believed the final Getsuka Tensho would kill him, but was only somewhat surprised when it did not, while he fully intended to kill Tsukishima to end the latter's manipulation of his loved ones, marking the only time he has ever gone into a fight wanting to kill someone. Number 68. Ishin Kurosaki was originally going to be a mortician before being redesigned as a doctor, which resulted in a character that often wears black. Number 69. Mayuri Kurosuchi is Kubo's favorite character to draw, jaw, which is why he shows up with new facial makeup and a new headpiece in every arc. Number 70. Like Nanao, Nemu Kurosuchi was implied to own a normal Zanpakuto by a color illustration before the Quincy Blood War established that she was unable to do so as an artificial soul. Number 71. Kurodo, Ririn, and Noba are the only filler characters to reappear after the end of their arc aside from Kariya, participating in both future canon and filler arcs. Number 72. Yachido Kusajishi is one of 3 characters to have ever displayed a specific shape with their Reiyatsu. Hers is a tiger, while Kenpachi's is a skull, and Ichigo's is a hollow mask. Number 73. Shinsui Kyoraku is stated to be the only Shinigami in the history of Soul Society with a Zanpakuto that exists as 2 separate blades in its sealed state. Number 74. However, the anime contradicted this fact with an unseated Shinigami who also wielded 2 Zanpakuto at once during Koga's flashback in the Zanpakuto Unknown Tales arc. Number 75. Lie Baro's knowledge of the chocolate Inglés game indicates that he originates from a Spanish-speaking country. Number 76. Guinale Lee is hinted to not be a proper Sternritter by his shrift, Vanishing Point, lacking the word the that all others revealed up until that point contained. Number 77. Tesra Lindo Cruz loses his right eye sometime between Neliel's banishment from Las Noches and the abduction of Orihime while serving under Neutra. Number 78. Edrad Lioness's hair has its 2 colors flipped to opposite sides in the anime. Number 79. Of all the Espada, Yami Yargo is the only one who doesn't appear in Stark's dying flashback to his comrades. Number 80. While impersonating Yhwach, Royd Lloyd seems to confirm that the former held some affection for his former subordinates, Zaydritz, Argola, and Hubert, since he was channeling Yhwach's memories of them, and Yamamoto claimed that he could see him crying at the sight of them brought back with his Bankai. Number 81. Due to his animosity towards Aizen, Barragan Luisenbar never refers to himself as an Espada or mentions his rank of 2, with it only being confirmed indirectly by Harabel identifying herself as 3 and Stark revealing himself to be 1 after all the other Espada had shown their numbers. Number 82. Ikaku Madarame is the only Shinigami to ever display a Bankai while ranked lower than Lieutenant within the Gotei 13. Number 83. Rangiku Matsumoto has never once had her hair properly colored in animation. The cover of Volume 46 confirms it's platinum blonde, but the original anime colored it strawberry blonde instead, and the Thousand Year Blood War anime recolored it as a normal blonde. Number 84. Gantenbain Mosqueda is the only Iron card to show a spiritual faith, as he prays to God during his battle with Sado. Additionally, while his Resurrection is visually themed after an armadillo, its name Dragra is not a Spanish word at all. Number 85. Kensei Muguruma is the only character to reveal his Bankai without actually showing its abilities and techniques on screen, with these only being revealed almost 200 chapters later against Mass the Masculine. Number 86. Oetsu Nemaya can sense the exact location and wielder of every Zanpakuto in existence as their creators. Number 87. S-Not is the only Quincy with any spiritual beliefs, as he read the Bible before being recruited by Yhwach, and is German. Number 88. Kyuge Opi is the first Sternritter to identify his shrift, and the only one who cannot use it for offensive purposes, forcing him to hone his other Quincy abilities instead. Number 89. Pepe Wakabranda is implied to be a monster of some kind who spies on the rest of the Sternritter to unknown ends in his early appearances, but this is ignored by the rest of the manga and cut from the anime altogether. Number 90. Deroy Rinker appears in an animalistic form alongside Icelinger Vernar during Grand Fisher's manga-only Aron carification. Number 91. Rudeborn Shelut is the only Iron card to release the Resurrection off-screen, though the anime depicts it and more of his battle against Rukia, Renji, and Sado. Number 92. Sado is only part Mexican, having been born in the Okinawa region of Japan, whose population has notably darker skin than most of the Japanese population. Number 93. Chiruchi Sanduichi is the only character featured on the cover of the manga volume to be given 2 poems inside for an unknown reason. Number 94. Chojiro Sasakibe is fond of the West and its tea ceremonies, which is reflected in his shikai resembling a rapier instead of a katana. Number 95. Shaz Domino is an outlier within the Sternritter, as he doesn't get to fully introduce himself before being defeated by Ichigo, and all 26 letters of the alphabet are taken by other Sternritter. Supplementary material reveals him to be another of Gremmy's creations, like Guinale Lee. Number 96. In the Bound arc, Ganju Shiba has the highest kill count of named Bound antagonists at 2 in Hoenn Ban. Everyone else kills at most 1. Number 97. Kukaku Shiba was subject to strange censorship in the original anime, where her stump right arm was covered with a prosthetic that she never used for anything. Number 98. Yoruichi is depicted with her sheathed Zanpakuto in a single flashback panel, but otherwise never uses or even acknowledges it, instead relying entirely on her physical capabilities. Number 99. Beyond creating clothing for their Shinigami, Senjumaru Shutara also invented the Shutara scale that measures holopresence in the human world. Number 100. Coyote Stark is the only Iron card to carry around a normal sword with no special properties, as his Resurrection is accessed through Lilynet instead. Number 101. Kaname Tosen's backstory is significantly reduced in the anime, portraying it as a slideshow of 5 images with brief narration instead of several scenes. Number 102. Before appearing properly in the Soul Society arc as a captain, Jushiro Ukitake first appeared in Rukia's flashback during the battle against Grand Fisher, where he wore a normal black shihakusho instead of a white captain's haori. Number 103. Aside from her occasional threatening statements to others, Retsu Unohana's true name and past as Yachiro Unohana were foreshadowed by her name meaning violent. Number 104. Kisuke Urahara was originally set up to be revealed as the main antagonist before Kubo decided Aizen would make for a better twist. He gives Rukia the Gigai that depowers her, prevents her from helping Ichigo against the Manos Grande, is denied entry into Soul Society, is said to possess forbidden knowledge that would make him an exile among the Gotei 13, and is infamous enough among even the modern generation that Ikkaku decided that Ichigo needed to die upon learning Urahara taught him, as well as Gin apparently being warned about an orange-haired boy by someone before the Ryoka invasion. Number 105. Hachigen Ushura is the only member of the Visor to win a battle in the entire series. He was the one to pin down the holified Kensei and Mashiro during Turn Back the Pendulum, and later proved instrumental to defeating Baragon in the Battle of Fake Karakura Town. Number 106. Yukio Hans Voroberna uses a PSP for his full bring, Invaders Must Die, but does so in 2003 while the handheld console released in the last few weeks of 2004. Number 107. Rojiro Otoribashi's 3 known Bankai techniques, Sea Drift, Prometheus, and Ein Heldenleben, are all orchestral pieces played by symphonies. And that concludes our list. While not a comprehensive overview of every minute facet of the series, this comprises quite a chunk of it, and we encourage viewers who are interested in learning more about their favorite characters to do some research of their own and visit the Bleach wiki. Thanks for watching, and remember, Frederator loves you.